Okay, good evening everyone. Welcome along. It's time for round 3 of RPM Esports Formula 1 Season 5. And it's Wednesday, my dude, so you know what that means. It's time again for the Championship Division. And tonight our drivers will be tackling the Spa-Francorchamps Grand Prix circuit, the longest circuit on the Formula 1 calendar. 22 laps tonight around this 7-kilometre circuit, 19 corners, 10 to the right and 9 to the left, 3 DRS zones in this high-speed circuit. But it's a track that many of our drivers will be very familiar with. I'm joined tonight in the comm box for the first time, not together, but for the first time, by Premier Division Ferrari driver Luke. Hello Luke, are you with us?
Hello, I'm here.
He's here. We're liftoff. We have liftoff. How's it going, mate? You all good?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, mate. Very good tonight. Excited to get started, and you know, as we're saying, proper intro. Things are going good, and I'm glad we haven't had any technical problems so far. Now that we've got this far, we should be okay. I'd like to think we'll be okay. So round 3, how have you enjoyed the first 2 rounds?
Well, I have had some good results. Disappointing in qualifying in Japan, but the race was alright. So I hope I can continue into Belgium. Belgium is a good track, so it should be alright.
And obviously the drivers will want to have a good qualifying. Obviously next week, as you can see, you've got the first sprint, which that one-shot qualifying can always cause a few problems for people who consistently find themselves at the front. And for anyone that doesn't like street circuits, we've got a triple header after that. So anyone who wants to get some points needs to get it done this week or next week before Jeddah, Monaco and Singapore, which I personally can't wait for.
Yeah, I have to miss Monaco, which isn't too bad, but Singapore and Saudi Arabia are good tracks for me, so should be alright. I love street tracks.
They are. So we're still waiting for the lobby to kick off, hopefully in the next couple of minutes. And in the meantime, we can take a look at the current standings. So Rodo is in the top of the table, top of the championship, after his win in Portugal, but was outside of the podium last week. Any thoughts about what he might be able to do tonight? I'm not sure where he finished last season around Spa. Obviously, it hasn't been too long since we last raced here. And Matt, another disappointing. Well, not disappointing. P7's not too bad, but when you're trying to fight for a title, you obviously need to be staying in the points. Those 3 there, I haven't seen this. Those 1, 2, and 3, 5, 6, and 7.
Disappointing round 1, but bounce back in the second one and still very close in the championship. So
exactly, very very close there. And the constructors likewise. Aston Martin leading at the front. Pretty tight gaps, isn't it? 3rd to 4th there, only a couple of points so far. And really, I've noticed in the Premier Division, Luke, that there's quite big gaps already, but these guys seem to be all within a few points of each other.
Yeah, the championship is a really equal grid, in my opinion. Better than last season, and it shows in the teams as well. Very balanced, and that gives you these results. So it's a pretty good first 2 rounds for the teams, and maybe we see some switch-ups here and there.
Exactly, and I think, yes, the constructors looks fairly similar. Aston Martin leading the way in the all tiers, and our 2 teams, Ferrari and McLaren, there chasing after the Haas. I'm not sure where Volcano and Spider-Man have come from in the Premier Division, but they have hauled some points in for Haas, and they obviously they've got them cemented in P2 after the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, they've scored some decent points leading the championship in Premier Division, so and leading the Drivers' Championship as well, Volcano. So Haas, they've got a good team, and they're looking strong.
And obviously, as we mentioned last week, Don in the Haas picked up a good result after a pretty disastrous opening round in Portugal.
Yeah.
And that brings us on then. As you can see, we've got the session underway. No cars out on track yet, but here comes Chimichangas in the Alpine. So back on familiar turf, around a circuit, like I said, that many drivers will have spent a lot of time on, I'm sure. A favourite for most drivers.
Yeah, and now I'm getting an interesting part from the test system, as it tells us it will rain for the first 15 minutes of the race, and then
Oh, okay.
later on becoming dry. So we have a mixed weather conditions in the race. So that was always bring an exciting part to a race.
Absolutely. I'm trying to think, do I prefer to go from wet to dry or dry to wet? What do you think?
I would prefer from wet to dry maybe, because you start off with the difficult situations, and then when you get to the dry period, it feels like you're much quicker,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe that gives you a bit of confidence as well. And you have lighter cars at the end.
Yeah, I find
But it's struggling in the first part.
Yeah, it's always a balance, isn't it, to try and judge when it's the right time to go in for dry tires. Obviously, when you're already on slicks and it becomes wet, it becomes pretty obvious when you can't get the car through the corners. But you don't want to come in too early, otherwise you'll really suffer on the dry tires. But for the time being, we've got the drivers heading around. Let me get the track map going so we can see how many drivers are on track.
Yeah.
And it's obviously a long outlap, probably 2 minutes around here.
Yeah, and this is also difficult with the rain, because we know the game conditions can change all of a sudden, out of nowhere, and then when you get it wrong and you go a lap too long on the dry or the other way around, yeah, you can lose a lot of time. But I'm just looking at the chat a bit, because some guys have joined us, and I noticed a familiar name to you, maybe your teammate. He's introducing himself and he says Ferrari sucks. So
Very good. Very good. Well,
yeah.
I haven't actually seen that come through on my end yet, so let me see if it eventually pops up. I'll get the stream open on my phone, because that seems to have a more up-to-date chat. So I'm not sure what's going on with OBS in the chat there, but regardless, yes. So we've got Colin and Higgsy in the chat, and Colin's reminded us that it's reverse grids. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think we also have points for sprint this time out, so it's a bit different format from last season, but that's a nice thing.
Yeah,
because,
so those chats are slowly coming through, but they're a bit delayed. So I'm going to I'm going to keep it open on my phone and use that instead, I think, because that is clearly causing an issue. I've noticed there's a little bit of some sort of screen problem going on here, and I can't tell if it's my connection or if it's the lobby. Are you seeing that on your TV? No, it's not on now.
Depends on what you see.
You see at the top, it's like a little bit hazy. Not now, but the sky. When you see the sky blue, it's a little bit. The colours are getting distorted a little bit. Let me know, because you can't see it at the minute. Anyway, let's talk about that. If we've got technical difficulties, they can come later. It's good to see Brandon in the chat. I don't think he's joined us in here for a little while. And the first few times are being posted. Chimichangas, let's see what he gets. Well off the pace at the minute, half a second down. But Dino with a 44.414, lots of ones and lots of fours in that time.
Yeah. He was on pole, I think, last season, but last round, I should say. But it has already changed. Stubby gone 6/10 quicker. So
already into the 43s. I'm not sure what the pole time was yesterday in First Division.
I can have a quick look in the meantime.
Yeah. Cool. Let's see then who else is on a flyer. See Don. All these times getting posted, and let's check. Where's Rodo, the championship leader? Is he on his way around? He's about to start his flying lap, so we're right on board there, Luke. I don't know if you see that on your screen, but it's all hazy on mine for some reason.
Oh, you're watching Rodo there.
Yeah, and the sky is just completely messed up.
Maybe that's just...
Is it me?
Oh yeah, that's you, because on my screen it doesn't look like what you see on the...
Okay.
For me it's a bit just blue with clouds. So I was looking at the weather and I thought, what do I need to see in this? But no, I see
Well,
something different.
I've checked my cables and they're all good. So I'm not sure. Let me do another double check and we'll ride on board with Rodo for his lap. See if he can whack it on pole.
Yep. Following him. Was also good points from Colin. We got a new driver in Ferrari. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Maybe some help from people in the chat. But yeah, he is replacing Prego, who has left us, unfortunately. I'm looking at the qualifying times in the meantime from yesterday. But yeah, we're following Rodo through sector 2. Let's see what time he can put in the middle sector. It is 15.8, so I'll have a quick look at the test system if I'm quick enough. Oh, he's going on the grass and he's invalidated there. I'm not sure what he's done, but
not a great start for him. Well, I've messed with all my cables and the connections seem fine, so it looks like we're just going to have to put up with whatever this is going on here for this race and hopefully fix it in time for next race. So, what about Don? He's going to finish his lap. Another quick guy in this division. Let's see where he puts it. Stubby leading as it stands with just over 10 minutes to go. Colin's saying that Stebo is a no assist driver, so that'll be interesting to see how that goes. And Don puts himself on the front row, but still 3/10 off pole.
Yep. So I was looking at Matt this time. I'm not sure if he's improving in the first sector. Let's see what he's doing in the second sector. He's improving only just, but he's a bit down the grid, and he invalidated just as I said that. So that's a bit unfortunate. I looked at the qualifying pole time from yesterday, and it was Danos and the Mercedes. It's a 1:30:43.9, so they are already a tenth quicker than yesterday, which is a good improvement. And they're only early on in the session as well. I'm expecting to see some more times being improved.
Absolutely.
Got a lot of
guys
things to watch out for now.
Set one. Did you manage to take a look at the incident report? Is there anything notable that came out of that this week?
I'm the chief steward, so I know all the incident reports, which is a nice thing. The drivers were fairly clean. They got Jono got reported for the blue flag situation, as we spoke about on the stream last week.
Yeah.
We reviewed it from his POV. The thing was, he moved out of the way when he could, but the game, because of a lot of cars behind him, he got blue flags all the time. So he just got the penalties for it, and he did nothing wrong. In our POV, nobody reported him for hindering him or in any way. So it was just a report made to get a clearance on what happened, and we had a look at it, and nothing happened. So still no incidents for the week, which is good, of course.
Of course, yeah. I'm looking at Puggy trying to give us a hand here. I'm not sure if it's the graphics. I mean, it might be a problem with the stream, but I've just hidden all of the individual graphics and nothing's changed that. So God knows what it is. We'll have that rectified by next week. It's only the sky though as well. It's not anything beneath the limit of the sky. So God knows what the problem is. So a few more heading round who haven't done their laps. Puggy's still in the garage. I'm not sure. I need to ask. You know, he's in the shed. Does he just do the race? Does he not qualify? Yellow flag. Where's that?
Yeah, I was looking at Cosmo, but I missed what you were talking about because I was following him. It's free fall in the pit lane, or is it someone else? Oh, Puggy. Yeah, Puggy's probably he's doing the last two whatever challenge. Normally he doesn't qualify, saving the tire set, of course. But
true.
It's most likely he will start P16. I'm looking at Rodo, following him. So if maybe you would want to follow someone else if you can, but I'm keeping an eye out on him and his times.
And I've got Freefall, one of the other drivers who hasn't set a lap. He's lapping as well, just in front of Rodo. So those times will come in, but obviously the championship leader, we'll keep our eyes on him as he comes around the bus stop chicane at the end of his lap and see what he puts in. So Stubby's time yet to be beaten by 3/10, 1:43.8. Did you find what the pole time was from last night?
Yeah, 1:43.9, so they're already a tenth quicker.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the test and I have the split times from the sectors, and what I noticed is that the guys who are in P1, P2, and P3 are around 2/10 slower than, for example, Haas, who is in P4 in the first sector alone. So maybe different setups as well. Could be because of the rain, but just an interesting thing when I noticed. But yeah, it's maybe setup wise because Raika has set the purple sector in sector 1, but he is only that in P12, so not the best start for Red Bull here.
So Freefall only manages to put himself no higher really, and Rodo punches himself onto the second row of the grid, still behind Don in the Haas, and Tonchek has come out there and posted a lap time half a tenth behind pole position, so he's knocked Don off the front row, and Tonchek takes that position. Just over 5 minutes to go, just under 6 minutes to go, let's say, so they'll still have time for another run, but with it being such a long out lap and in lap, you lose out on some time that you might gain around some other circuits.
Yeah, and tire wear is also pretty high on the out laps because of the long circuit. Tire wear generally very high here around Spa. It's a long track, so it's not a surprise. But I'm looking at the qualifyings here, and Haas has moved up to P3. His teammate, who got pole position in the first round, isn't here tonight, Spritzy. And I think it was Tonchek who was on. No, it was Dino was on pole, I think, in Japan. So if we got Stubby on pole, we got 3 different pole position guys in 3 rounds, which is good to see. But I'm looking at some yellow flags. A lot is happening now.
Yeah, I'm just caught Stubby is about to head off on his second lap, so let's see if he can improve on that pole time as he heads down into turn 1.
I was keeping an eye out on Matt, and he improved 3/10, but only 1 position to P11. So, I mean, the field is very close because from P4 to P12 is only 4/10, but it is just enough to lose you a lot of positions.
Of course.
It's to be 3/10 quicker in the first sector alone.
Wow, that's a big improvement. Yeah, I'm just noting down a couple of issues that I'm coming across here, so hopefully I get those lined out for next week. There's a bit of an audio delay as well, which isn't great, but what can you do? This is the nature of live events, I suppose. But yeah, back to racing, so yeah, Stubby up 3/10.
Yeah, so entering pool on here, keeping it within the lines. Let's see what his middle sector time is. He takes his corner beautifully. I mean, he's a Dutch driver, I think, in a Belgian track, so a bit of a home race. As he's now only a tenth up, as he lost 2/10 in the middle sector then.
Okay.
Maybe, I mean, you can't change the setup, but it looks like he has more speed in sector 1 and loses out in sector 2. Or he just had a really good sector 2 on the last lap.
Possibly there's a Mercedes again there. Dragos or Cosmo. Let's see what the time is. He's just dropped it through Lecomte. Does he improve? Yes, he goes just shy of a tenth quicker. Very good, very good, very good. And Tonchek heads out for his outlap. He's just coming through sector 1. Huss is in the pit lane.
And I think Orsteby has to do a slow lap right now. But yeah, his tires will have a lot of wear, so I'm not sure if he can do a second lap, but otherwise it is done. So can Tonchek maybe challenge for pole position then? That is the question. Jimmy is improved as well,
Absolutely.
up to P9.
Yep, and he is, I think, on a lap as it stands, so he may improve even further.
Yep.
Let's wait and see as he heads through Pouon. We're approaching. Oh, and he's spun through Puan. There's a Mercedes coming. He's got out of his way. I don't think the Mercedes is flying, so no issues there. But unfortunate
Beautiful
for Jimmy
save, though.
as he drops it. It was completely sideways. Kept it out the wall, though. We've got Dino, who's setting up for his lap.
Dino's down in P10. He's known to be a good qualifier, and known him from season 2 or 3, I think it was. He is a good qualifier. So I'm just following him then.
Paul Rouge and over Radion. Let's see if he improves his sector 1 coming the end of the Camel Straight. He is.
Yep.
A 10th higher, which will gain him a couple of positions. Quite tight in the midfield, only 3/10 from P4 down to P10.
Now this right-handed difficult corner. Down. I think this is new.
Slightly, but he keeps up, yeah.
You don't want any track limits here. It's quite difficult to keep it within the limits.
Yeah, risk reward there. If you can carry the speed, you run the risk of having some track limit issues coming toward the end of the second sector. And now he's just got a flat out section to 10 with before the bus stop chicane. Gets on the curve, that's risky. But he found himself 2/10 up. Did he? Oh, he did. Wow. Okay, I missed that part. That's no good. Cosmo has retired.
Yeah.
So he won't improve. And let's see, is
it's a
this...
bit of a weird
yeah,
place.
Stevo. Yeah, I know. Yeah. He mimight have dropped it coming out of the traction zone there and just gone into the wall. I don't think you would lose it on entry there.
Ooh, Dunn is close. Yeah,
Back
it looks like he's
wall.
dropped it on the exit and then into the right wall. But weird situation.
So that's qualifying over. The guys that are on laps... No, he didn't. He didn't. The guys who are on laps now have a chance to improve. Where is Don? Is he about to finish his lap? No, he's
just finished his lap. No, he's just finished it. Following him. He was up 3/10, but not sure if he's going again, but I'm looking at Haas. Haas behind. Can he improve?
He's half a 10th up. And he puts it to the line. Doesn't improve his time, but doesn't improve his position.
Smith up 5/10, but he invalidated. Oh, that's unfortunate.
No, that's unfortunate. Yeah. Wardy next to cross the line.
Not sure what Wardy's doing.
He's
with
closely followed.
Around.
Yeah, he's closely followed by his teammate, so he's giving Stevo a lovely run down. Has he backed out there? No? No, he hasn't.
No, Stevo's
down.
Up on his time.
Wow.
Or down on his time.
Completely missed the entry there. But Stevo has a chance to improve, and he does, all the way up to P6. What a lap. 3.5, nearly 4/10 up.
Not only Raika is up, is down on his time, he goes up to P6 as well.
And he's up.
7/10 gained.
Wow. Okay, so that's the grid then. 16 drivers tonight. And Stubby takes pole position by just under 1/10 of a second, so a great lap by him. Don is in P2 and the championship leader all the way down in P5, so he'll have some positions to make up. Matt, I think Matt will be quite disappointed with that. P13, I'm sure he thinks he's got more pace in him than that. And obviously Dino as well, who's had a good result last week, finds himself down in P12. Are we still waiting on someone? Is Don... No, everyone's done.
Don is, he's probably on a slow lap. Yeah. So, yeah.
So, if anybody in chat is able to tell me about this audio, if it's severely delayed for you guys or if it's just me, I feel like there's maybe a second's worth of delay. So under braking, downshift, sound a little bit off. All things to consider for next week. But there it is then. So Stubby is on pole position. Don in the Haas rounds off the front row. Tonchek and Huss round off the second row. And the championship leader is ahead of Riker in P6. And again, like we've mentioned, Dino and Matt will look to get off the line and improve on those times.
Yeah, Dino a bit down the grid. And I mean, it's only 7 tenths to pole position, and that's not too bad. But yeah, it's very close
tight. Look at all those drivers.
at the top. Yeah. And now the difference. I mean, we do not need to forget that we have a wet part of the race, so might have been
and
some
that'll
guys
be interesting
who
to
took the gamble.
Yeah, I would imagine most people have gone dry setup if they've seen that it might dry up later in the race.
Yeah, I'm in the Ferrari chat, so I can. I can tell. And the game said, according to the drivers, that it would still rain at 30 minutes into the race. So we might have some people thinking it will be 30 minutes, just like we had. I think it said that we would have rain for the whole race or part of the race, and we didn't have any. So
that messed me up in Portugal. Was it Portugal? I think it was Portugal.
Yeah, the first round.
Yeah.
So
very interesting then.
I mean, the test.
We'll
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll we'll get a chance to see who's running high downforce, who's running low downforce as they head down the Camel Straight. But the drivers set off then, and I will get the tyre details up so we can take a look. Everyone on Inters, as you would expect. Telemetry, lap data, yes. Interval broadcast, yes. Okay. So, it'll be a very, very long outlap, and it'll be a very long opening stint to this race, with Spa obviously being the longest track and in the wet. So, these times will be, I'd imagine, closing in on the 2 minute mark. I remember qualifying last season was wet for us, and I think the qualifying time was a 1:53. So that was in qualifying as well. So race pace, we could be looking at 2 minute laps here.
That is quite a long lap. I'm also thinking about strategy here, because depending on how long the rain will stay, will some drivers try to stay out or stretch it as long as possible to go to the mediums, or will the track dry up really soon for maybe hard tires? So that's also an interesting aspect.
Very much so. There's a little gap there at the back. Someone's dropped the ball, I think. And they've extended the field out a little bit, but most of the pack seem relatively close together, so no one will have to sit on the grid for too long. Colin's telling us that the audio seems okay, so fingers crossed it's just on my end. I'll review all this later on. So, finally, approaching the end of Sector 2. We'll shortly be underway. 22 laps. How long did you say, Luke? Maybe 15 minutes of wet?
Yeah, so the test system is saying 15 minutes, and then at the 30-minute mark it says it's just cloudy, so that gives me an indication that it will already be dry. But yeah, I think it will have, if we have around 2 minute laps, we could see 7 laps, 8, maybe 9 laps of intermediate conditions, and then afterwards to the dry.
Absolutely.
But you never know.
About a third of the race, and then we could hit the dry. Yeah, I know. You do never know. You never know how long the conditions are going to stay like this. But finally, we enter the bus stop after what has been a very, very long formation lap.
Yeah. It is very long. And let's see who has the better start. Now, when you're starting on medium traction control, these guys will have a better start than the ones without traction control, but
absolutely. Well, we know that Stebo is on no assist, so let's see how he handles the braking zone. Chonchek has disqualified himself, so his tyres will be colder than they already are. The only driver, I think, to disqualify. No, there's Cosmo and Chimichangas. There's always a few. But we're away. We've got 2 lights. We've got 5 lights. And the Belgian Grand Prix is underway in the Championship Division. We've got a lovely camera angle down the run towards turn 1. And who's that? On the left at the back. He's got a good start. But it looks as though Stubby's going to lead them through the first corner. The Haas wide. Huss picks up the position. Difficult traction zone. And there's some scribbles going on at the back. Red Bull under contact there. Riker has dropped down some positions. Report Rouge for the first time. Some gaps already starting to approach.
Ooh, that's Dino's up into P6, but he took the Rouge off track. So you have to see behind is it's Cosmo running into the back of Riker there. I hope he doesn't pick up any damage. And Matt is also moving up some positions, so the Red Bull drivers loving these conditions. Wardy dropped back a lot.
Yeah, so the biggest gainers then, Cosmo and Dino up from P12 to P6. And the back of the grid up to P9. And he dives down the inside, Cosmo on the Haas, and gets himself up another position on Don. So Don, bless him, he's had a terrible start. Down from P2 all the way to P9. And the gap now 1.7 seconds to Stubby at the lead. Thankfully, the sky has returned to us, so there's no more graphical glitches anymore. So it seems like everything is underway. Tonchak holding what he's got as well from the start. Everybody else either gaining or losing a position.
And Stubby is already 1.6 seconds away from Haas there in P2. And Stebo can't keep up with the guys ahead as well. So a lot happening behind. Matt is also moving some positions. Don is having
very close.
Don doesn't have the best opening lap.
Yeah, might that be setup related, or that could just be a bad opening lap perhaps. Matt has chosen not to dive down the inside. There it is, a 2-minute 3-second lap on the opening lap. So we will have sub 2-minute laps, thankfully, once we get a full racing lap in. And it looks like Matt's going to think about making a dive. No, he doesn't. Yeah, a little bit of pressure. He's going to get a good exit. Yes, he does. He gets a fabulous exit, and he's passed him before Rouge and up a pace. So Don, bless him, Don down 8 places now.
I'm thinking like maybe Matt has chosen a bit of a wet setup because he was struggling in qualifying, and now he's flying. But
yeah, and Chimichangas is looking to put himself alongside Dragos as they head into Les Combes. Dragos outbreaks him and keeps the inside line. Puggy also closing in behind Wardy in the Ferrari.
Puggy is looking for it, but he isn't overtaking him. But it's very close midfield battle as Wardy almost hit the back of Jimmy. But yeah, the annoying thing about the wet is that you get bigger gaps early on in the race. Because
very true, yeah. Already nearly a 3-second gap to the top 4.
But Haas is closing in though, he's improving. But behind it, the gaps are starting to form. Only a battle in the middle here. Don's still struggling a lot. And can't keep up with the guys ahead.
Yeah, there's a chance under the slipstream that he loses yet another position to Dragos, who is the closest driver. 3/10 in behind the Haas. And he's got a good run through there. Again, I don't think he's going to make a move through the bus stop. But closing in.
Already into the 1 minute 58 there. And a Red Bull fight with the Mercedes. Have a sandwich going on. Can Matt get a good run? Through Rouge up to Radion.
There'll be no DRS, but look at that, he's alongside at the top of Radion. He's deploying some ERS. They go side by side all the way down the Camel Straight. Who's going to get him? Is Dragos going to get him around the outside? No. Don has braked on the inside line and he keeps the position.
Yep. So no DRS, of course, in the rain. Doesn't matter how many laps you
DRS
race.
such a crucial part of this track as well.
Oh, Jimmy's running a bit wide. There's Wardy's looking to go up the inside. Struggles with the traction. Now Wardy,
And he does.
Jimmy overshoots the corner, and oh, it's a small tap. Is Puggy looking to overtake as well? No, he's staying behind.
Oh, Stubby has been taken by Huss.
Oh,
So we have a new
we
race
missed that
lead
completely, but
as they enter the third sector. Yeah, it was into the final second to last corner of a significant corner before the straight that isn't a straight.
oh, he's
Huss
lost his
leads then
wing.
the Aston Martin team. He has. Stubby has lost his wing, so contact
Stubby's-
then between. How's he lost his wing if
Or
he
has
was
he made a
leading?
mistake?
Has it been his own mistake? Yeah, it must have been his own mistake.
It
So
could be, yeah.
Stubby will pit then.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
He'll, very unfortunate. And he obviously can't take advantage of the tyres either because he'll just have to strap on a new set of inters.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's going to have to box again when it becomes dry. So not a great start for the race lead at all.
Oh, it's a
Dragos
collision
diving down the
between
inside.
Puggy.
No.
Collision between Puggy, Jimmy, Smith, and Freefall. Smith and Freefall seem to be
Really?
continuing, but they lost a lot of time to Wardy, who was also in that fight. But
It's a
Don is
big
still under
incident, 4
pressure here.
cars.
Yep.
Dragos back on Don.
Both using ERS, so probably the same downforce then. I'm looking at the track and it seems like it's drying up, but it's still raining on the screen, so just got a bit of a dry
no
line
near
for
slicks
me.
yet. Seconds appearing all over the place. We've only got Matt in behind Cosmo and Dragos in behind Don. Everybody else. Oh, and a little snap there by Dragos on the exit down towards Puon. Everybody else more or less outside of a second. Rodo also closing in on Tonchak for P2 as they head toward the end of the second sector. This is where the race leaders collided earlier, or there was a mistake by the race lead at least.
Let's see if Rodo, Tonchek has all of his ERS left, so fairly equal, but Rodo has a good exit. And he's gaining.
We've got Goran in the chat, Goran Potner from First Division, supporting the Aston boys, so he'll be pleased to see that his teammate leads the Grand Prix. Obviously Spritzy not available tonight, so there's only one Aston Martin out on track as Huss sets the fastest lap of the race, as you may expect, a 1:58.349. Matt closing in right behind.
Stubby's
he's
lost
made a
his wing
mistake there. He
again,
was a
and his
tenth
teammate as
behind.
well. I'm looking at the Williams drivers, and both of them have lost their wing. So Stubby again losing his wing, and now they...
Oh,
no.
no!
might have been a
No,
collision
you're right,
with his
Stubby
teammate
back
there.
in.
And Smith also has wing damage, and I saw them going side by side, or at least with Jimmy, so that's very unfortunate for
Freefall
Stubby
comes
there.
in as well. Yeah, it's a shame we didn't catch either of those, but that's the second front wing in a matter of laps there. And Dragos still putting Don under pressure. Is he going to get it done this time? No. Once again, he holds what he's got. Rodo the same, in behind, going down toward... I'm not sure the name of this corner, but it's Speaker's Corner. This is where I was sitting at the Grand Prix a few months ago, down towards Puon.
Yeah. I think it's called Speaker's Corner now.
So the
yeah.
gaps, as we say, are starting to appear. Yeah, it is. It is. You were there, weren't you, Luke? Right?
Yeah, I was on the Saturday at the Lacombe. Oh, and someone has lost it. It's Stubby.
Nice.
He's lost his wing again, I think. Oh, it's a safety car.
You're joking.
He's lost his
It
wing
is. Safety
again.
car is
but
that
it's
one
a
track and he
safety car.
has. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Can Williams even afford more than 3 wings? Is that like in the budget?
Yeah, I was just about to say it's becoming an expensive evening. Yeah?
Drive
Oh,
through.
Don
Drive
dives
through for
penalty.
Don. I've been there. I did that in Portugal. And it's something that really, really gets on your nerves because under the pressure of thinking, what do I do under the safety car, you forget to see that there's a big red thing on your screen telling you to slow down. So Don is going to have to drive through, and he can't drive through under the safety car. So we will have to wait until we have green flags again. But I'm interested, what might that safety car have been caused by? Stubby again, perhaps?
Some people going in. Yeah, I think it's Stubby, but
Oh, they really? Let's see.
cars going in. Are they going to tries? It's interesting.
That would be very interesting if they do. I
yeah,
mean, we did
I see tries for an LP.
Yeah, hard tyres there.
Or some.
They
guys
are. So we've got a couple of
chosen the
drivers going to
mediums.
hards, a couple going to mediums.
Oh, Haas is. Oh no, it's a desync there. I thought Haas was stuck in the pit lane, but it's just my screen. Rika has continued, Jack has continued, Wardy continued. But I'm looking at the chat. We got Birdie telling us Stubby and Freefall hit, so we know why they got damage. And Smith got damage from a spinner in front in the lap before. So, oh yeah, that's a little incident. But interesting.
So Cosmo stayed out.
Yeah.
Cosmo stayed out on the inters, as did Wardy, Dragos, and Riker, who takes provisional P1. This is very interesting, actually, as the safety car restarts. Is it going to be too early for those slick tyres?
You need to get temperature in them as well, and it's quite difficult. 8. Yeah. I'm looking at
exactly.
Roto.
We estimated lap 8 or 9.
That's true, yeah. But because of the safety car, you can't take the gamble. But I was looking at the Roto as Don's picking up 3 seconds again.
That's a drive-through and a penalty. So he's gone from a disaster class to a master class, back to a disaster class.
Oh, he's lost his wing as well.
It's one side or either. Oh, dear me.
He might have just lost it on the hard tires because the track is still wet. Oh yeah, he's really struggling on the traction if you follow him on board there.
I am. I mean, it won't help having no front wing either, but...
yeah. So...
And is that the Red Bull also no front wing? Yes, Matt.
Did they collide with each other maybe? Or don't know what's happening with all these front wings here, but Stubby has gone to another set of intermediates. So...
Yeah, this is...
I have these guys on the dries taking the wrong decision.
Yeah, because I was looking at Roto. Is it going to go for another lap?
It might be, but I'm not so sure.
We'll have to wait and see because we've got a mixed, as we know, we've got a mixed tyre set. We've got Matt and Don both without a front wing, so they might have collided. Puggy's going to pick up a couple of positions, but again, what are these guys going to box to? You can't tell the game to not change tyres, can you? So, what are they going to do?
No,
are they
you
go
can't.
To or can you just... Oh, another penalty for Don. Dear me.
Oh, that's unbelievable. Let's
see what happens then. Oh, and he's retired in the pit lane.
A very unfortunate evening. Because he DNF'd in the first round as well, but then he got that win. But,
yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. He had a terrible opener, a great second race, and now it's just gone from bad to worse for the Haas, who started really positively toward the front of the grid and slowly dropped back down toward P10. Has had a couple of incidents, picked up a couple of penalties, and now his evening is done. So the first DNF of the evening, although it was intentional. So that's Don, the first Haas out of the race. So one more lap behind the safety car. These guys at the back need to catch up with it fairly quickly. Stubby has come in to box for slicks as well. Let's take a look at the track conditions. There's still a little bit of spray, but the rain has stopped.
Yeah, the rain has stopped, and I'm looking at the chat as well, and these guys are discussing about maybe the decision to go on slicks a bit too early. Still a lot of spray, but it looks like the track is drying up quite quickly. But yeah, the hards will be very difficult to get temperature in. Oh, is it just me or has Haas lost his wing as well?
He has. He has. Wow.
Now, how did
Yeah,
that
I'm reading
happen
that in the
then?
chat.
Because
Evil Master saying, yeah. I read Evil Master saying he lost his win, and I thought he meant he's just lost the position, but he must have meant wing, because he has no wing. So, I don't know how we're missing all of this.
yeah,
Under a safety car, I wouldn't expect people to be losing front wings, but that's what, the 5th or 6th front wing in 7 laps?
yeah, I don't know what's happening with the circuit, but it might be eating front wings from the drivers. Because
Yeah,
how can that happen then?
I know. We'll hopefully hear from a few guys later on. But this is going to be very, very interesting on these slick tyres. I think it might be a few laps too early.
Oh,
This restart will be very interesting. Let's see. Is safety car in this lap or not?
yeah,
Don't
but
tell me we're going for
Haas has
another
left
lap.
the session. Haas has left the session on my screen.
Has he?
I'm not sure if
He's
you have
coming to the
seen
pit
it,
lane
but
on my screen.
yeah, he is on
Dragos follows
for
him
me
in.
too. But
So he's... I
yeah,
might have missed
so
that. I didn't see it.
yeah, he's migrating host. He's left the session, so that's you can't rejoin. So that's very unfortunate and from him, because we lose another front runner from this race, or front qualifier, I should say.
And Stubby,
But,
did he retire earlier or is that just a new one as well?
Stubby's
I'm not
crashed
sure if we've already seen that. No, Stubby retired.
under the safety car.
Yeah, he has. Oh my god, he's crashed. Oh my god, what are these guys doing? He was on slicks, so maybe that's, you know, a slick problem.
And he was the host as well. Now
yeah,
he's left it again.
This is a
So
strange, strange race. Let's hope the lobby stays intact indeed, Higgsy. Let's hope that doesn't ruin the lobby. But another lap behind the safety car. And Freefall's dropped on another set of intermediate tyres, so he doesn't feel like it's time for slicks just yet. But all of the grid bar 3 drivers on the slick tyres.
and now if I'm looking at
the
it,
medium
I'm not sure
runners
if the
need to be
intermediate.
careful.
Yeah. Yeah, the intermediate seems to be struggling here. It seems like that, but they will be struggling, I think, because the track is looking really dry. From I'm looking at Dragos' POV, and it seems pretty dry. So it might be the wrong decision.
Huss asking in chat to be re-invited, but I'm afraid that's I believe that's against the rules. No reconnections after qualifying.
Nope.
So Huss's race is over. Unfortunately, mate, that's you done for tonight. So you may as well kick your feet up. No points for Aston Martin. So leaders of the Championship Constructors and the All Tiers Constructors pick up no points in round 3.
Oh,
And
Dragos
surely
has
now
gone off track.
we'll have the safety car in. Where is he? Dragos. He's intact,
he
alright? Yes,
rejoined,
he's still intact.
Yeah. So I don't know if you notice it, but I'm noticing quite a bit of delay between the reactions from our sides, from you to my screen. So I'm not sure if that's mic related, but
Yeah, I'm thinking the same. I feel like I'm cutting you off a lot, but I'm not hearing that too much on my end.
yeah, that's the same from me. So
Let's... Okay. Well, let's do what we can. We can just look back later. When we listen to the stream, I'll understand when I was saying something, I'll understand what you thought was a little bit late. Anyway, back to the action, because safety car is in. Riker has ditched them on those intermediates. He's already gained a second, but this is going to be very interesting for those drivers on the slicks. There's no spray, but I'm not seeing a dry line as such. And Wardy is flying away from Tonchek in the traction area.
yeah, Tonchek, Tonchek seemed to be struggling with it. But Rodo's looking for the overtake as well, but the dry runners are struggling with grip. But Puggy's having an amazing race. He's up to P8 there.
Yeah, let's take a look at the position changes to remind ourselves. Yeah, you're right. So Puggy up from last to 8th. And Wardy and Dino the same. Some pretty decent start. And then the AlphaTauri very wide. That's going to cost him. Matt gets past Puggy on those slick tyres also. Again, we need to remind ourselves. Those drivers
crash,
for yellow
Jimmy.
flag, sector 2. Oh, yes, he's
That's
lost the
another
front wing, so the tally continues.
virtual safety car. It's a virtual, I think.
Okay, well, yes, it is. It is.
But that will help Wardy and Raika a bit there. But they gained a lot of time to the cars behind, so it's still a bit wet.
And a 5-second penalty for freefall for ignoring yellow flags. So that may be a game problem. Has he maybe overtaken somebody as they've gone off the track? Or has he overtaken somebody under a virtual safety car? We'll see. That could be removed, but we'll have to see what happened.
Yeah, I'm not so sure what happened, but I'm looking at Tonchek. Either Wardy is letting a gap or Tonchek is closing in, but it's green flags again. Oh, and Raika's gone in. Wardy's staying out.
Leaders.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So now, predominant dry tyres, and it looks the track to be drying out quite well. I'm seeing a dry line on the racing line. Not much spray. In fact, no spray. So it was a good call. The safety car period was extended probably 1 lap. And Rodo, yes, through Eau Rouge.
This will be
We
for
might
the
have
lead
DRS
then.
soon.
We will have DRS soon. Rodo up the inside. No.
Looking to go around the outside but can't get it done. We've got Matt closing in behind Smith.
And out of nowhere, Dino is up into P4. A Dino.
Yeah,
So
up
I'm not
8
sure where he
places.
came from. Let's see behind. Some interesting developments.
Good point in the comments there in the chat. I'm seeing specks of rain reappearing on the dash. And there's a Haas. Free fall is out. Let's see what's happened. He's dropped it on the exit of Puon and he's bashed it straight into the left-hand wall as a front wing on the track. Safety car deployed. So another delay to proceedings. But that will help. Well, not really, but it might help the late boxes there from the intermediate tyres. But the rest of the field on dries. Wardy will be able to box and he'll save himself some time, but it's still not ideal.
Nope. So he will be.
But yeah, a few specks of rain still appearing.
Yeah, it's just some small. We know from Spa that it can just drizzle a bit out of nowhere. I mean, you're still in the mountains, so or not really mountains, but highlands, I should say.
The hills of Stavelo.
Yeah, the hills. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what your experience was on the Saturday, but our campsite was up the biggest hill climb. We had the car, thankfully, but we used to drive down to the bottom of the hill to go to the shop. And on the drive back up, which was about a 15-minute drive up a hill, there was people walking with the camping chairs and everything. So that must have been at least a 45-minute walk, if not more. So a massive, massive task for people to get up to the track from the bottom.
Is that the entry at Lecombe, or is it another?
Yeah, near enough. My entrance was on this hairpin that they're coming up to now, just before Speaker's Corner.
Yeah.
And my campsite was sort of down the bottom right side of the track map, so that's the way that I used to come into the circuit every day. And yeah, really, really steep hill all the way up to the top.
Yeah, I was there for last year and this year as well, so I know the steep hill. I mean, we parked in the. We got a bus who delivered us quite close to the circuit. We still had to walk up that that tiny part of the, I think it was a kilometer or so, but I'm used to it. But I have a funny story once with my brother. We went with the buses. That was on Sunday when it was all the parking lots, which are grass, were underwater or just completely destroyed by the water. So we had to get by a bus, and he's lost his backpack in the bus, or he forgot it. And we were already at the top of almost at the top of that steep hill. So I had to run back all the way to the down the hill to not see the bus anymore. So we lost the bag, but it was quite funny afterwards. Not that funny at the time, but yeah.
Did it have valuables in it?
It didn't have a lot of valuables. I think it was a poncho was in it, and just a charger for his photo camera. Luckily, his photo camera, he took it out of it before or before he left it at the campsite. But yeah, just the bag and the other stuff. But
yeah,
it was a nice story.
I'm seeing the sort of delay. Yeah, I'm seeing the audio delay. I think it'll sound okay on stream because everything from my side is obviously being projected. But I think you're hearing me maybe a second later than what I'm actually doing. So we'll have to figure that out for next week. Although you're hearing me through the party, so...
Yeah, but it is... For me, it's multiple seconds, I think. But depends on if you react immediately after I stop my last sentence, then I know when to do so. I just count down 3, 2, 1.
Okay. Well, hopefully we can rectify that. I'm not sure why that is the case. I'll see if Spritzy's ever had that with Jones in Premier Division. We'll see if we can fix that. But again, I'm coming through the PlayStation for you, so we never normally have such a big delay when we're both on through the party. So I'm not sure what that is.
I mean, I just have to get used to it and remember that you hear me a few seconds later, but that's alright.
Yeah, all things to be ironed out next week. So another long safety car window, which is not. It hasn't been the last few laps haven't been the most entertaining. We had a VSC and 2 safety cars from lap, what was it, maybe lap 6 or 7 through until this point. So 10 laps remaining. Once the safety car goes in,
not
whether it's going to be this lap or not, we'll soon find out. No. At least it's dried off now. The rain seems to have gone away. Those specks on the dash have gone away as well.
It seems dry up, and I think the safety car will be in this lap. So yeah, there we go. It is in. So we just have to wait for the restart.
So Tonchek leads the race, and he started not that high up, was he? Where was he? Oh no, he was in P3.
I think he was.
So a good position, and Dino finds himself up 9 positions, so that's a good podium for him if he can hold on to it.
And it could be another one, what is it? A double podium for Alfa Romeo as well. So.
Of course. So Tonchek is going to slow the pack down as they go through the bus stop, and he's going to take a wide line through the final corner, and he gets his foot to the floor, a little squirmy on exit, but he's kept it together. And now all the drivers head down to turn 1. Dino isn't waiting about. He's going to send one up the inside, and he's kept it together but hasn't got the position.
He's following through to a Rouge and now ready on. No DRS, but Stebo behind on the, I think, better tires here. Going for the overtake. Just not pulling it off.
Doesn't get it done, yeah, stays behind. Dragos has taken Riker, also through Le Con. And again,
Ooh,
there's
fighting
some
between
incidents going on. Matt
Matt and Wardy.
and the Ferrari.
Yes, Matt is
Side
now
by side they
past
go,
Ferrari.
down towards P1.
Let's see, the championship leader, can he challenge Tonček? Tonček is, I think, quite high up in the championship as well. And
We've got a massive pack of 4 or 5 cars, all within a few tenths of each other. But some gaps starting to appear toward the top of the grid already, a few seconds between the top few drivers. But that pack down from P5 to P9, or no. Yeah, let's have a look. Oh, very wide there from Cosmo, and he picked up a penalty because of it. That's unfortunate. If he lifted, he might have got away with that one. But he's picked up a 3-second penalty.
As fastest laps starting to come in now because of the change to the dry tires. This is the first time I think they're going full out on the dry tires. So
I'm not sure how long those mediums can last, but there's a yellow flag. That's an incident in the back. Oh, it's Huss's AI,
Jimmy,
I think.
and
Yeah, Huss's AI might have made contact.
I saw Jimmy going off quite hard.
Oh, is Jimmy out? Oh, yeah, he is.
When I switched to Haas's POV, I saw Jimmy in the back into La Source very hard into the wall, so might break a bit earlier the AI, but that's unfortunate for Jimmy then.
Yeah, that is very frustrating when the AI gets in the way. That was what brought out our safety car around Portugal. So very, very annoying that the AI doesn't just pit and get out the way. So that's cost the driver, unfortunately. As you say, it probably was early braking that's caught him out into the wall. But at least we've not got another safety car.
Yep, that's better than a safety car here, because another safety car would become quite boring, then.
Absolutely.
The thing is with these safety cars is that they that they are pretty long, because the track is really long, so that's also not so fine to experience.
So I'm seeing these gaps closing. Puggy is looking to get up within DRS, which I believe DRS will be enabled this lap. Yes, there it is, the message from race control DRS. So we're going to have some action going into Le Com, and Tonček has dropped it. Rodo has taken the race lead, but who got the DRS? Let's see what happens here. He's going to enable ERS to try and get back around him. And Tonček regains the lead of the race. Easy as you like. And Dino getting involved.
So the AI of Haas now in, so the top 11 is just the cars remaining.
Dragos and Puggy going side by side through Speaker's Corner, and they're going to go side by side into Puon. This is going to be
Cosmo.
3 wide into Puon. No way. Oh, they've made contact with the Mercedes. Has spun. Cosmo.
Go for Red Bull.
Oh my word.
Body's gone through.
That was going to happen.
It was bound to happen, that incident.
I don't think they committed to 3 wide, but at one moment on entry it was 3 wide. Someone backed out, but still 2 wide through Puon, something you love to see if it comes off, but it didn't on this occasion, and the Mercedes driver costs himself some time. So Wardy closing in, Wardy the closest driver. Rodo is going to get a shot potentially into turn 1, but if not, up Eau Rouge and into Le Com.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Ferrari driver Wardy, who's fighting Matt now. As Matt is looking to re-overtake Wardy here. Matt close behind. Up the top of Radion. Wardy cutting the corner there and picking up a penalty, unfortunately. As Rijka overtaking Puggy. They're probably struggling on the straight line.
Matt gained a lot of time under braking there through Le Colombe, but couldn't get past the Ferrari. And Puggy now all over the back of Rijka, but I don't think he's going to be able to get a move done anytime soon. But the smallest gaps towards the back of the field, apart from the challenge for race lead. So hopefully those two guys can stay within the DRS of one another, Tonček and Rodo, as the Ferrari goes very wide there through Pouan, but escapes the warning.
And Czech jinxed Cosmo a bit there in the chat. He's saying come on Mercs and Cosmo. And then just a few moments after that Cosmo dropped it, unfortunately. Or was involved in an incident, I should say.
Very unfortunate there, the incident. Yeah.
Rodo looking for the overtake as well.
Yeah, in Gornik making a point in chat, which I was about to mention myself, those mediums will only be good for a number of laps. Oh, and there's a yellow flag. It's the Red Bull. It's Matt. He's spun coming out of the bus stop, so he's lost out on a few seconds. But these tyres, 11-lap-old mediums, aren't going to go too much longer. The hards, there's a chance those hards could go to the end. I can't see people boxing unless they need to. So those drivers who went for the hard tyres could be in prime position to take up some free places.
So we could see Stebo going for maybe his first win there in his first official race, I think, in the championship. Or in RPM in general, so that's good to see. Now someone else
Puggy and
will need
Wardy
to watch
going
out
side by side through Le Com again. And Puggy's got the position.
Wardy and Matt both have 6-lap-old mediums, so they can still challenge as Puggy picks up the penalty.
Smith, the closest driver behind the potential race leader, if these guys do have to box. So he's in contention for a great finish as well. Let's just double check these positions and see where these guys could be. So Stebo started in P7. He does, yeah, he does. And now that DRS is enabled, we'll see how that train continues. Dragos, the leading Mercedes, also finds himself in a good position, and a few guys toward the back picking up a few penalties. That gap between Tonček and Rodo opening up ever so slightly, still within DRS, but Rodo doesn't seem to have the raw pace to get past the Alfa Romeo.
The test is telling us, I can see Tonček, his tire wear, and it's around or between 40 and 45. So he's on 12 laps, so I'm assuming Rodo and Dino have the same amount. So they might take it to the end.
Yeah, I agree. I think they probably will. You can probably take them to 70% before they start risking a puncture. So those guys might be okay. Sure, and so as you say, they're not going to box unless they have to. They don't want to lose the race lead.
But the thing is then, with those tire wear, Stebo and Smith on the hards won't have that. So they might get a bit more advantage and better traction in the corner, and we could see some last lap overtakes maybe.
Very, very possible. As you say, only 4 of the drivers on those hards, but the guys toward the back from Rijka have fresh mediums anyway. And interestingly, Husser's AI has come back on track, thankfully well out the way of any other drivers, but again, the game just needs to take him out, I think, just in case he was to get in the way.
Yep. gaps are starting to form a bit now. Rodo doesn't seem to be keeping up as much as in the beginning. Dragos is putting some pressure on Smith. Ooh, as he's just, as I said, that he struggled with the traction.
We're approaching the point where there's no more safety cars. I think after this lap, that will be it for the potential for any safety cars. So these guys will be running
lap 20,
until the end. Gaps appearing all over the place.
Oh, Wardy again with a 3 second. I'm not sure what the penalty is saying now. Oh, Rodo made a mistake. Small mistake there.
Yeah, I missed that mistake. But let's see. He's allowed Dino back within his DRS. There's only a number of drivers within the DRS. Only 3 guys currently within a second. So gaps definitely appearing all over the track.
The question is, was
and
it because
Cosmos
of
came
fire
in
or-
for softs as well. Yeah, true. I mean, 50% isn't too bad, but again, you know, around here, if you give it a little bit too much, it's very easy to drop the ball.
Yeah, you can struggle a lot with the higher percentages, and maybe these drivers struggle with that. But especially into Lacombe, the chicane is tricky in general, very slippery. So with less grip from the tires, yeah, you might see something. But Dino's looking for a 1-2 for Alfa Romeo here.
Absolutely. And he's pushing, isn't he? They've got equal ERS, but he's going to get a good run out of turn 1, and he might look to make the move going into Lecombe at the end of Camel Straight. So let's ride on board with him and see how he gets on through Eau Rouge. Those tyres will be screaming at this point, both a little bit shaky, but he's got a better exit, and he's going to get past Rodo going down Camel Straight.
But look who's behind. It's Stebo on the hard tires. They're closing in. So Rodo might drop off the podium here then. And this is helping Tomczyk here, but it's a 1-2 for Alfa Romeo at the moment. With only 3 laps remaining, 2.5 laps. Can Dino hold off these guys behind to make sure his teammate gets the win? Oh, Rodo's really struggling now.
A little mistake there by Rodo. And Ferrari's got a way better exit. Stebo is right up behind the gearbox of Rodo.
There he goes. Oh, and Rodo
into
now
the
on
podium
pressure
places
plan as
on
well.
those hard tyres, so he's making the most of that call.
4 cars right behind each other. It's Thibaut onto the podium in his first Ferrari race. Sorry, I was looking at the football because it just finished from Argentina, Poland in the meantime.
Full-time score?
Argentina 1-2-0 and Mexico 1-2-0 as well. So I think Poland and Mexico have the same goal distribution, or the same, how do you call it? They both have same goal difference, or?
Difference. Goal difference.
Yeah. But it isn't finished at Mexico yet, so they're just waiting to see, because if Mexico score another goal, Poland is out.
Well, it's tense there, and it's tense here, as we have 1.5 racing laps to go. It looks as though Tomczyk has checked out, really. 2.8 seconds, only 3 seconds clear of his teammate, but that they won't mind, because maximum points coming home for Alfa Romeo. Stebo, though, is
Football
going to look to
update.
ruin that 1-2 party. He's only within half a second on those hard tyres, so he will be in much better condition going into the final lap of the race.
As I said, the football update. Saudi Arabia just scored the 2-1, so it's over for Mexico. We switch back to the last lap then. Stebo going for a P2, maybe.
Absolutely. If it does stay like this, Luke, if you're able to try and get the Alfa Romeo drivers in a party, that will be useful while I do what I need to do on my end.
Oh,
But they cross the
Rolex
line
losing positions.
on for the final lap.
I'll try to get switch as soon as possible. I just want to see a bit of the final lap there. But
Oh, and
it's a-
Dragos has dropped it coming out of turn 1, and that's going to lose him some positions.
Now Stebo going for it. Can he
Dear
do it on the
me.
final lap?
On the last lap, the Mercedes drivers.
Bit too far behind, I think.
Yeah, all eyes on Stebo at the minute, who I believe will have one of the bigger position changes. My controller is saying no to me wanting to do all of this. Yeah, Dino up 10 places. Amazing result for those guys. But can Stebo ruin his party and come along and take P2? He's the closest margin. Wardy also closing in on P6, but we'll stay with the action at the front.
Yeah, Wardy does have the penalty as well. Rodo running wide. Rodo is dropping a lot of positions here. And he's losing a lot in the final laps here. This is not ideal for the championship leader.
Yeah, those 16 lap old mediums will really be struggling at this point.
Stebo going for
But
it.
we've
on
got
the
another yellow
final
flag. It's
sector.
in the Mercedes. Those guys have had. Yes, I've got
Into the
on
bus
board
stop.
with that now. Let's see. He's got to make a move going into the bus stop. He has to.
Oh, Smith.
Dino's taking the inside. Stebo around the outside. They make contact.
Oh! Oh!
Stebo's got it done.
Dino's hit.
He's got it done.
Yeah.
And that's it. What a finish.
What a move.
What a finish. Tonchek, Tonchek Alfa Romeo, Stebo in the Ferrari on his debut, scores a podium, last gasp overtake. So Dino up 9 places. He can't be disappointed with that, but he will be. He would have liked to have held on to that one too, but a good result for Alfa Romeo nonetheless. Smith rounds off in P4, Riker P5, Rodo in P6, Matt the Red Bull in P7, Wardy and Big Puggy P8 and P9, so a good turnaround for Puggy considering he didn't qualify, and a poor result from the Mercedes really, and Cosmo's reversing over the line. So, so yeah, that's it then for this round. We'll do our best to try and get a couple of those podium guys in the chat. Let's try for the Alfa Romeos to begin with, and try and get some team chat for those guys. Hopefully they join. If not, we can try and get a hold of Stebo on his debut. So we'll see if any of those guys come along. But in the meantime, while we wait, let's view the podium, and we'll have a look at the final standings.
Adding some of the guys now, hoping they can join.
Cool. Still waiting to... There the podium is. Cool. Well, here we see then the Alfa Romeo driver making his way on to the top step of the podium. Alfa Romeo, Ferrari and Alfa Romeo. So that's a great result for their team. And obviously we'll see the group points by the end of the week. By the end of the week, and we'll see the final standings.
I hope I got the right Stebo here. It might be.
We'll see.
Oh, so I'm. It tells me
and
I
I'll
can't
take a
add
look
him
at these classifications.
Because of his settings. So
That's okay.
that's unfortunate.
Hopefully, if we don't get anyone, we don't get anyone. But it will be good to speak to the Alfa Romeo drivers if either of those join. So let's just hang around and see while we run through the classification. Is it going to show us the classification? I don't think it is. So
Yeah. Let's see if I can maybe tag them in a way. I'm not in the championship chat, so that's annoying. Normally I was, but. Just waiting for them then. Well, we might wait for that. In the meantime, it's trying to see if I can look at the driver standings.
if you can do the maths, by all means, but that's not something I would do.
I'm normally quite a math person, so no, I'm not so good in math, but in just calculating things, I'm alright. Driver standings.
Yeah, it doesn't look as though any of these guys are going to join. So we will probably call it a day, and maybe
Yeah.
next week we'll have better luck.
So I think Rodo will still be leading. Tonchek maybe moving up to P2. Matt is in P3 or 4, and Dino's in P3 or 4, somewhere around that. But Haas in P3, Spritz in P4, and Don in P5, scoring 0 points. So
Yeah, very tight there, and it'll obviously be interesting to see what comes of the incidents that we missed. Obviously, all those front wings that we lost at the early phases of the race. We missed most of those crashes, so there could be some incident reports coming your way, Luke, to be reviewed.
Yeah, I will keep the guys updated, and I hope we don't get too many incident reports, but we'll have to see.
Cool. Well, I'm going to end it here then. So we will join you all again next week, hopefully without these little bugs that we've had. Try and get the audio sorted for Luke so we can you can hear me a little bit sooner. But next week, as we said at the start, we go back to Brazil for the sprint, the first sprint of the season on December 7th, before those triple headers of the street circuit. So guys, we'll be looking to haul some points, and it's going to be reverse grid this year, so interesting to see how that plays out for the first time. So that's all from us. That's all from me. Luke, I'll leave you to say anything you want to add, and then we'll call it a day for this week. So thanks for watching, everybody.
Great. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Bear with us with this beginning of the new stream setup. I think it worked alright. Bit of tweaking to do. But good racing from the guys tonight, and I will see you all next week.